Hey guys, I found this article on craiganddavidhomes.com, and it's talking about the 15 most Googled real estate questions. So I figured one thing I could do was, instead of letting you guys Google everything, I would just answer them myself. So these next these next videos that I post, I'm going to post them all in stories. They're going to be one per each question, so they should be really bite-sized, easy for you to digest. But yeah, check them out, and if you have any more specific questions about them, just let me know. The first question is, why is it essential for me to get my home inspected? As a seller, I wouldn't say it's always essential, but it can help you to hire a home inspector before you list your house, so you can anticipate any sort of repairs that a potential buyer might ask once you go under contract. And then as a buyer, it is 100% absolutely critical that you get your home inspected before you buy it. It'll be $300 or $400 for the inspection, depending on the size of the house. And it can save you literally tens of thousands of dollars in the long run. I've had entire foundations crumbling that you couldn't see unless you got all the way to the other side of the crawl space, which the home inspector did. And my buyer got out of the contract, or else they would have been paying for $50,000, $60,000 in foundation repairs. So home inspection, absolutely necessary when you're a buyer. It might help if you're a seller, but I wouldn't say it's absolutely crucial. Whew, I'm gonna try and get through these questions, but my throat, I got the crud, so it might take a while, but I'm gonna get all these answered today. What reasons would a seller have for turning down my offer? There are a lot of reasons. I mean, the biggest is probably money. Your offer's too low. It could be contingent on your home selling, that the home that you currently own. They may not want to risk that, because if they take their home off the market, they're not marketing it anymore. Whereas, they're depending on you and your realtor to market it adequately. You could ask for too many days to close. I mean, there are a lot of reasons. You could have a USDA or VA or FHA loan, which are a little bit harder on the appraisal side of things than a conventional loan. Those are the main ones, I'd say, though. Those are the biggies. The next one is, how do realtors go about determining the worth of a home? Determining the worth of a home is subjective. It's an opinion. So what one realtor or appraiser may say your house is worth is not exactly what the next one is going to say. But boiling down to it, we look at the surrounding area, we look at the neighborhood, we look at the condition of the market, we look at the shape your home is in, we look at how updated your home is, how outdated your home is. If there's, maybe a pool or a shed or a basement, there's a lot of automated value determination processes out there, such as like Zillow's Zestimates, they're just all automated. They can't be specific. So you really need to have a realtor come out to your house, see the house in person, and that's how you get the best idea of what your home could be worth. The next one is, what does it mean when a sale is conditional? And really what that means is that there are contingencies in the sale. So you're offering to buy this house contingent on, the home inspection being good, the appraisal being good, you being able to get financing, potentially on your house selling, potentially on multiple houses selling. If you have like two separate people that own homes and they want to move in together and they both have to sell their house. I mean, really it can be contingent on pretty much anything. The least amount of contingencies, the better chance of your offer getting accepted. So like, don't go crazy on the contingencies, but some things, just the offer is going to have to be contingent on them, and that's okay. How much time should I realistically expect to pass before my home sells? That is a great question, and it is going to vary from person to person, from house to house, from realtor to realtor, from market to market. I mean, a house could be on the market for 200 days and not sell. It could be taken off the market a month later, put back on the market, and it sells the first weekend. I mean, there's so many factors, and the best way to figure out a good estimate, because it's going to be an estimate, nobody can predict the future. Just talk to me, talk to any agent that you know, and get their opinion, because that's going to be the most accurate way to figure that out. When's the most opportune moment to put my home on the market? That is a great question. I say that the market tends to be the busiest in like the spring to summer months, because the days are longer. People have more opportunities to look at your house, like after work during the week, whereas during the cold months, it's going to get dark at 4:30 or 5, so people may not want to go look at houses when they get off work. So I'd say that there are more buyers on the market around spring and summer, but keep in mind, all the other home sellers are also going off this. So if you list it in the winter, you may not have as much competition. So you might have, less buyers out, but more buyers looking at your house because there aren't as many options. So really, it just depends on you, your situation, when you want to sell. But talk to me or your realtor, and we can, figure out when the timing makes sense. What are the must-haves for me to be eligible for a mortgage? That is a great question. That's probably the question that I get more than any others. And I'd say in general, aim for like a 640 credit score. But a loan officer is going to be able to look over your finances, tell you your debt to income, if you can qualify. So honestly, if you're looking to buy a house, or if you're looking to sell a house and buy another house, I would start by talking to a loan officer because, especially if you're a home seller and you want to buy another house, imagine, listing your house, getting it ready to market, dealing with all these showings, negotiating a contract, accepting an offer, and then you go to get qualified to buy to buy a house to qualify for another mortgage, and something happened and you don't qualify. Then you're stuck selling your house and you don't have anywhere to go. So I just say talk with a loan officer, get with me, I'll send you a message and send you somebody great. The next question is just how big of a down payment is necessary for me to secure my dream home? Well, traditionally everyone says 20%, you got to have 20%. You don't. That's such a lie. I mean, I've sold dozens of homes over my career, and I've had maybe 4 or 5 people that have 20% down that are, getting a mortgage. So don't listen to that. There are so many programs out there, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, where you can put $0 down. I'd say, just to be safe, have 0% to 5% of the purchase price saved up for your down payment. But again, I've had people who put $0 down, and the day of closing, they get a check. For buying a house, they get a check. So there are a lot of different programs. Just holler at me, and I can walk you through them and see if any of them make sense for you. Or better yet, get you in touch with a loan officer that can go over your finances and tell you for sure what makes sense. The next question is, how much time will I need to set aside to go through the home buying process? Well, really, that depends on you. I've had clients who the first house they saw, they knew they wanted, they put an offer in, closed in 30 days. But I've had other clients who are very picky, and they will go a year before deciding. I think the national average is something like 4 to 6 homes. That's about how many people see before they tend to make a decision on average. So it could be more than that, could be less than that. And then once you go under contract, once you find the house that you want, I would plan for 30 to 45 days until you close and you actually get the keys and you can move in. But again, this might vary from situation to situation. So just reach out to me and we can figure it out for sure. Is it necessary to have a realtor on my side when I'm buying a new build? Generally speaking, I guess it's less necessary than traditional real estate transactions, but real estate is a language in and of itself. So a builder is going to be able to use terms that you may not be familiar with to try and out negotiate you. So having a realtor on your side for new construction will definitely help. When it comes to negotiation, we know what to look out for. We know what to look out for when it comes to upgrades that you may want. It's just good to have someone that's familiar with the transaction side of things on your side representing you. And most builders, especially if they're a well-known, well-respected and popular builder, they would love to work with you and your agent because they know that if you have an agent, you're going to be more comfortable, you're going to be more confident, and you're going to be happier in the long run. So I'd say it definitely helps things. The next one is, what are the compelling reasons to collaborate with a realtor? So basically they're asking, why should you hire a realtor if you're buying a house? I would encourage everyone to hire a realtor when you're buying a house because we know what to look out for. We know what the home buying process entails. We deal with it all day, every day. It is our 9 to 5, which is not really 9 to 5, but it's what we deal with every single day. as our main source of income. So we know what we're talking about. We know what to look out for when it comes to negotiation, repairs, complexities of the contracts. I mean, there's so much that goes into buying a house that doesn't go into like buying a car or something. You know, buying a car, you walk into a dealership, you stay there a few hours, sign some papers, and you got your car. That's not at all how real estate transactions work. It's very complex. And our main job is to just take stress off of you. And also, you don't pay us out of your pocket. So keep that in mind. Should I make the commitment to buy, or is renting a safer bet for me? That's so dependent on you and your situation. A lot of agents are going to say that there's no reason to rent. You should always buy. You should always build wealth, always invest in yourself. But there are situations where renting makes sense. If you don't know you're going to be in the same place the next few years, and you might have to move across the country or move to a different town or something, it might not make sense for you to buy. And that's okay. You know, there are situations where you could buy now, and if you have to move later on, you could keep your house and rent it out and buy another one. I mean, it just depends on what you and your goals are. So if this is a question that you're curious about, reach out to me. I'll walk you through it. I'm not going to pressure you one way or the other. Most realtors will. It's not me. I'm very low pressure. I just want to answer any questions, be as helpful as possible. So DM me and I'll walk you through it. How much can I comfortably spend on a home without compromising my financial future? Again, I would encourage you to talk to a loan officer who can break down your finances, and they can help you figure out how much you can afford. If you have a monthly payment in mind that you want to stick around, tell that to your loan officer, and they can tell you what your budget should be as far as the price of the home, so we know what to look at when you start to look for homes. It really just depends so much on what you and your goals are. A lot of these questions are pretty subjective. So, you know, I think right here they say that most financial advisors recommend your mortgage shouldn't exceed 28% of your gross monthly income. If you want just like a broad general guideline, I guess you could go off that. But again, it's just going to vary from person to person. Is there a risk of the housing market collapsing soon? Sure. There's always a risk of that. I mean, anyone that tells you that they know that the market's going to crash, or they know that the market is going to be safe, they're full of shit. Nobody knows for sure. It's really hard to predict the future. I will say that there was a lot bigger fear when the interest rates were continually rising, but we've seen a recent downtrend in interest rates, which is a good sign. More buyers are getting out of the market. For a while there, it kind of felt like we were on a standstill with the market. Sellers were expecting top dollar for the houses, while buyers were stuck with really high interest rates. They couldn't afford it. So a lot of people weren't buying and a lot of people weren't selling, because if you had a house and you needed to sell your house, you didn't really have anywhere to go because you couldn't afford another house. But that is changing. So I would say right now there's definitely less of a risk than there was say like 6 to 9 months ago, but I don't know for sure. All right, we are at the last question. When can we expect a more favorable housing market? It just depends on what you classify favorable as, because 2 or 3 years ago in the middle of the pandemic, I had a lot of buyers that were looking for houses, and yes, the rate they were getting, it was super low. But on the same note, there were so many buyers out. If they saw a house that hit the market that they liked even somewhat, they did not have time to think. They had to submit the offer right then. They had to go, every single time they had to go above list price. They might have to waive inspection contingency, which is scary as hell. I didn't recommend anybody do that, but sometimes they didn't have a choice. So like, right now, with higher interest rates, you're going to have more options than you did back then. So it really just depends on what you classify more favorable as. All right, well, that's all the questions. I had a lot of fun doing this. I haven't done many videos lately, and I need to get back to doing it. So if you benefited from these videos at all, let me know. If you have any more questions that I didn't answer in these videos, let me know. I'll do anything I can to help you. My slogan has kind of become, I'll work my ass off for you, which is true. I will do anything I can to help you. So just shoot me a message, text, a call, whatever, 256-919-3030. This is Austin Matthews with eXp Realty, and I hope to talk to you soon.